So how did you start with the restoration of the Halifax and trying to find parts and pieces?
Well, okay, got to back up a little. When I was getting all my ratings,
Yep.
the World War II guys, British and Canadian that flew in World War II,
Yep.
they were my senior instructors, and they
Ah,
would fascinate me with their stories as I was an 18-year-old starting out. And I just researched and went further and further. Then I found out that we saved lots of Lancasters, but 70% of all combat done by Canadians and Americans with Canadians, 70% of all that was on the Halifax bomber. And one of the greatest adventures I ever had was in 1995. We went to a lake in Norway. We found a Halifax in 700 feet of water, and we lifted it up with robotic subs. And I wanted to bring a Halifax back to Canada for all those Halifax bomber crews in Canada who had to put up with the malarkey about the Lancaster was the only airplane we ever used in World War II. So there's the photo of the happy day of bringing it up on the beach. And then 10 years fast forward, and there is the beautiful Halifax from the lake restored. And I took pride in giving back to these Halifax boys
hmm.
their beloved airplane. And now they didn't have to listen to the people say, oh, you must have been on Lancasters. And okay, so there's a parallel, Steve. There's a
Hmm.
parallel between, okay, the B-17
Right.
gets all the glory, the
Yep.
B-24 Liberator that they made more of takes a second seat to the B-17s. Battle of Britain, Hawker Hurricane
Hmm.
takes a second seat to the Spitfire, but
Yep.
it's actually the Spitfires were in majority. Sorry, I meant
Mm.
Hurricanes were in
Yep.
majority.
Yeah.
And in Canada, the Halifax is 70% of all of our combat. Only 20% of Canada's, I didn't say British,
Right.
I
Yep.
said Canadian combat is 20% is Lancaster. So it's over a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah. So with that thought in mind, why did you have to go overseas to find a Halifax to bring up? Or there just weren't any
Well,
in Canada at all?
no, no. And here's the problem is the Canadians used them in England when their squadrons were there. And
Okay.
when the war was won in Europe, the
Hmm.
Canadians came home with their Lancasters and they left behind their Halifaxes with 70 or 80 bombing missions on each Halifax. And the Brits cut them all up for pots and pans.
Sure.
So, and there I am, a young man getting into aviation, and I'd say, I got to see a Halifax. Where is a Halifax? And there was only one partial Halifax in England, but there was zero in Canada. So, unfortunately, I got a bee in my bonnet. And I said, I'm going to go find a Halifax for our Canadian lads.
Yeah. And interesting, you bring up a point that the Brits, cut up the airplanes for pots and pans, and something that's kind of lost in, at least on the American side. I'm only talking for what I know from this side is that we here in America after the war was over, things in America, the economy was booming, everything was going very well, but in England it was not, and there was almost a 10-year period where the hardships that the English had during the war continued. So the fact that they didn't they didn't think twice with cutting up these airplanes because they needed raw materials. Because their economy was just totally in shambles, and it's one of the things that I found. And I guess I'm on a soapbox here, but in doing these programs, is that we in America have a tendency to look at World War II through an American lens and forget some of the other contributions, most of the other contributions of all the other allies, including Canada, uh, United Kingdom, Australia, all these other countries all played a part in this, and so one of the things that I hope to do with this program is to spotlight some of the other countries that were very, very important in winning the war, including Canada and including the Halifax, which has kind of been a little bit forgotten, especially like you said, the Lancaster takes the spotlight.